It's time to take a TO with coaches Turner and O'Neill. Produced by Kurtis Cross and engineered by DJ Krissy.
It's time to take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. Your new favorite podcast features conversation from the world of high school, college, and pro sports, along with other riveting content. Connect with us on Facebook and Instagram at Turner O'Neill Podcast and on Twitter at Turn On Podcast, or visit www.turnerando'neill.com. Listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Buzzsprout, and more than 15 podcast platforms. We also invite you into the studio each week via YouTube. Subscribe and watch each episode on our YouTube channel at Turner O'Neill Podcast. Thanks to our premier partner, Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage, our partners, Dynamic DJ Entertainment, Healthy Baller, Insurance Alliance Group, LLC, and Marquise Evans with Keller Williams Capital Properties. Our sponsors, O'Neill Development, LLC, Next Level Lacrosse, A Squared Home and Office Solutions, Collins Funeral Home, and Peace Players International. And our donors, Winsight Media and Gene the Barber with Max Life Barber and Salon. Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill is produced by Kurtis Cross and engineered by me, DJ Krissy. Now we welcome you to today's episode as we take a TO with coaches Steve Turner and Casey O'Neill. Here's your host, Kurtis Cross.
Welcome to Season 3, Episode 21 of Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. I am Kurtis Cross. My mic is not muted. I am your host, and I'm joined by Coach Steve Turner and Casey O'Neill. Of course, our engineer sitting right to my left is DJ Krissy. Thank you for listening and watching. Our premier partner for Season 3 is Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. Ray is a friend of the program and the only mortgage lender we endorse right here at Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. Ray Cruz is Mortgage Intelligently. He is our premier partner. Ray is a friend of the program, and we also have Dynamic DJ Entertainment, Healthy Baller, Marquise Evans with Keller Williams Capital Properties, and Healthy Baller, if I didn't say them already. If you would like to become a partner, sponsor, or donor, we have more than 200,000 listeners and viewers in our wake and more to come. You want to get with us for Season 4 advertising opportunities. Before we get into today's episode, gentlemen, how was your week? Coach Turner, talk to me. You better load up on some sleep, buddy, because you taking a ride and you going out to Portland, ain't you?
Yes, sir. Christmas Day, but this past week's been good. Little downtime from games. Our guys are in the midst of exams and locking in to finish up the first semester. Can't believe I got a son who's about to be a second semester senior here in only a day or two.
Yeah, yes.
Time is flying by, but rock and rolling, getting ready for Christmas and my favorite time of the year. So I've been having some fun the last week.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. You like that, Casey?
Karaoke, go.
Christmas hits by Kurtis, man. You should make an album.
Coach O'Neill, how was your week, sir? With the
Good
curly
week.
W on your hat.
Curly W for the Nats. Springtime will be right around the corner.
And the Mets have a new manager, Buck Showalter.
There you go. Mets are making some moves. What's new? They're always making moves. Let's see if they can capitalize before it goes to.
But we make it into July and All-Star break, and we're feeling good. And then
I mean, are the Mets like
August
the Redskins, like the winners of the offseason every year, pretty much, or used to be?
Every year. And then comes August, and we do one of these.
Wah, wah. My week's been good. Train. Got through the B-Days. Erica and Chloe had great birthdays. In fact, one of the gifts for Chloe was to take her to a Washington Capitals game, which we did last night. So it was nice to head down there, have a nice dinner with her, go into the game, watch them, hanging with Cole, hanging with my girls. And, hey, coaching CYO hoops. I'm not like Coach Turner over here, but coaching 7th grade girls basketball. We got our second straight win Saturday night.
All right.
So we're moving in the right direction.
All right, sounds good. DJ Krissy, talk to us about your week, young lady.
Well, the last weekend of events for the year.
Woo! All right now.
Woo!
Not to be outdone by.
Did I mention that includes today?
Yes, it does. Talk to him.
We have a wedding today. It's Monday, and there's a wedding today.
She's doing a wedding down at the Franciscan Monastery today. DJ Krissy will be on the ones and twos.
Yeah, Monday wedding.
But you did a beach party over the weekend, a winter beach party.
I did. A party on the beach with the sand.
What beach?
It was
at the Chesapeake Swan Point Yacht and Country Club.
Nice.
They're on the Potomac River and they have a beach.
I couldn't call it out.
Yeah, they have some
Potomac River.
beach area. So she did that. She sent me some photos of the biggest bonfire I've ever seen. It's as tall as a one-story house.
It was amazing.
Yes,
that was the highlight of the beach party for me. It was awesome.
Nice.
I mean, the dancing was great. Don't get me wrong, but bonfire that was great. What else? Finished Christmas shopping. Was one of the crazy people that went to the mall, which was so much fun.
That doesn't make you crazy.
Shortly before Christmas, I think it might. There was a long line to get in, and I'm telling you, the line to get out was so much worse.
Y'all see that bonfire?
Oh, dang.
That was the beach bonfire photo she sent.
And those little things that you saw on the outside, those are the chairs. That's how far away they had to be.
Yeah.
Wow.
You see the little, those are chairs. It was a big bonfire. Let's see what else. Got the nails done. Guess what's on them?
What, snowflakes?
Snowflakes.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
You're going to wish this thing to happen, aren't you?
It's going to happen.
All right. We're not having a white Christmas. Around this area, for those...
But that snow's coming.
For those who are listening from far and wide, we have 60 degrees is what we're going to have on Christmas Day here. As far as my week, I officiated a last-minute wedding. I was called in 7:30 on Thursday evening to officiate a wedding on Friday. I called a few games, including my buddy's first home coaching debut. They got a win over there at Northwest High School, and we are inching closer to that most wonderful time of the year. Let's hit our first break, and we'll be back with this week's headline. Kurt Cross here, producer of Take It To Yo with Turner and O'Neill. For more than 20 years, I have seen Gene the Barber for my haircuts. I am proud to say that Gene the Barber is now the owner of a new shop, his own shop, Max Life Barber and Salon. Max Life is family friendly with barbers and stylists for men, women, and children. Located at 6859 New Hampshire Avenue in Tacoma Park, Maryland, Max Life Barber and Salon is now the new home of Gene the Barber. Of course, you'll get Gene's signature service, but now Gene has several barbers to choose from. Schedule an appointment today by calling 240-687-7253 and tell Gene that the Take It To Yo team sent you.
Take It To Yo with Turner and O'Neill can be found on more than 15 podcast platforms. Listen to us on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Buzzsprout, Spotify, and other podcast platforms. Tune in on your preferred podcast platform. Be sure to listen, subscribe, and spread the word. Take It To Yo with Turner and O'Neill records weekly with episode drops each Thursday at 11 a.m.
One Headline is brought to you by
Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. With a stellar reputation as an outstanding mortgage lender, Ray Cruz serves the lending needs of real estate professionals, builders, and individual homebuyers in Maryland, Washington, D.C., Virginia, Texas, California, Florida, Illinois, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. Ray believes that integrity is the cornerstone of his business, and helping you achieve your home financing goals is his business. Located in the heart of Bethesda, Maryland, contact Ray P. Cruz today to get started. Your home mortgage or refinance options await. Call 301-761-2278 or visit raypcruz.com. Ray P. Cruz, mortgages intelligently.
Portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take It To Yo with Turner and O'Neill. Welcome back to Take It To Yo with Turner and O'Neill. Today's episode is brought to you by Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. Gentlemen, this week's headline: the NHL has suspended cross-border travel. The NBA postponed a handful of games yesterday. The NFL is playing the scheduling shuffle again. This is starting to look familiar, gentlemen. Your thoughts on the pandemic beginning to affect professional sports once again?
Well, it feels like Groundhog Day. It just feels like things are, right when you think things are getting back to normal and we're just kind of going about our business. It's you just turn on the news, right? Turn on SportsCenter, turn on NBC News, whatever it is. To me, though, look, I was at a hockey game just last night, and you wouldn't have thought anything was going on. I mean, most of the people in there were just going about and selling concessions and watching the game and having a good time and sitting all close together. So I think, I just hope, like Steve has always told us, is like, just do the right thing, that everybody does the right thing and doesn't think this is just like, fake. Continue to, especially in this holiday season, continue to do the right thing and work together with whatever you're asked to do. And it's not that simple. I mean, I do firmly believe after this sort of Omicron or whatever version of this is that we are in the right direction. I really do.
Okay. Coach Turner.
Get vaccinated and get your boosters. Those who haven't gotten vaccinated, go get vaccinated. Those who've been vaccinated and are eligible, go get your booster shot and keep your mask on. I never thought we'd be at a point where we would just be, okay, there's not going to be any stoppages. It's evident that there's still too many people who are living the way that they think is safe that's not safe, and because of that, we're gonna have these moments. I love the pro sports. I just don't want it to hit my kids.
Yeah.
So for me, if pro sports got to slow down and stop, so be it. I just want to be able to keep the kids that I'm involved with and working with safe and give them an opportunity to have a complete year, whether that year, and I think our year is going to include some stoppages. I think it's inevitable. I just hope the powers to be will have conversation instead of just jump to shut down, because I think I think we have done a good enough job to put things in place with vaccinations for the most part within the WCAC to allow us to have an opportunity that even if we have to have a stoppage, that we can continue to move forward with some delay. And if that can happen, man, I'll be one of the happiest men in the world.
I think I hope that we're able to mitigate this better than we were before there were vaccines, understanding that some people will test positive, and I hope those symptoms and the after effects of that are a lot more manageable, and we as a people can understand that, so we don't go where we were a year ago. Steve, as you're wearing that Team USA shirt or sweatshirt, I got it right here. The Team USA basketball men's side will be Steve Kerr. It will include Eric Spoelstra, Monty Williams, and Mark Few. They just named their team. That's a hell of a coaching staff.
Ooh, that's good crap. Good staff.
Yeah.
That's fine. It could be a good staff, but on the other side of this break, we got to start in 5. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is your one headline. O'Neill Development is a custom builder in Maryland, Virginia, Washington, D.C., and the Eastern Shore. Recognized nationally as a premier builder, O'Neill Development has received awards for historic restoration and urban infill work. Committed to best practices in green building, O'Neill Development also provides support in budgeting, architect selection, and design development during the critical stages of planning. O'Neill Development, building, remodeling, and development since 1975. Find us at www.o'neilldev.com or call 301-840-9310.
Connect with us socially on Instagram and Facebook at Turner O'Neill Podcast, on Twitter at Turn On Podcast, on YouTube, just search Turner and O'Neill, then subscribe. And of course, you can visit our website at www.turnerando'neill.com.
Winsight Media delivers connections and intelligence to 4 of the fastest growing verticals: convenience retailing, grocery businesses, restaurants, and non-commercial food service through broad and cutting-edge platforms. No company is better positioned to meet the food industry's needs than Winsight. Connect with us at www.winsightmedia.com.
The Starting 5 is brought to you by...
From Washington, D.C. to Ocean City, Woodbridge to Columbia, Richmond to Virginia Beach, the hottest DJs are right here. The Mid-Atlantic Professional DJ Association.
Dynamic DJ Entertainment, the most experienced professional DJ service in the DMV. For 35 years, our DJ talent has been the energy behind more than 14,000 events. If you're planning your wedding, school dance, corporate event, Sweet 16, or any event, our talented team has the right mix of music and MC skills to bring the energy and turn any event into an epic event. In 35 years, our DJs have performed in front of more than 2 million guests in 26 states. Our services include dynamic DJ talent, karaoke, giant games, atmospheric effects, movie nights, and more. Contact us today and let's make your next event an epic event. Dynamic DJ Entertainment. Visit thepartybeginsnow.com or call 301-942-4500 to get the party started.
Portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take It to Yo with Turner and O'Neill. The starting five. Welcome back to Take It to Yo with Turner and O'Neill. The starting five is brought to you by Dynamic DJ Entertainment. I am your host, Kurtis Cross, and I'm with Coach Steve Turner and Krissy O'Neill. Our engineer for this and every episode is DJ Krissy. We are up to our weekly starting five. 5 questions I'll ask of each coach. They have 30 seconds to answer each of these questions. They can only defer one question, and if they go over their 30 seconds, DJ Krissy, what will happen? All right, gentlemen, let's do it. Outside of your professional circles, name a famous person you've met, Coach O'Neill.
Oh, man. Outside of the professional, somebody that met. Gosh,
You only get 30 seconds.
I'm going to defer to Steve. I got to think of.
All right, Steve, outside of your professional circles, who have you met that is famous? Is Steve frozen?
Kurtis Cross.
There you go. That's the only answer. That's the only answer. What you got, Coach?
Hold up. Coach K. Well, then that's in my profession.
Yeah.
President Obama.
Oh, you've met him.
It was through my professional circle, but I met him.
Okay, we'll take that. So someone not in sports is kind of what I was going for. Coach O'Neill, what about you?
I mean, if I'm going to think, I walked by and said hello to Michael Jordan once when I was a kid, and that was one of probably the coolest things.
Did he shake your hand? Did he acknowledge you?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. He walked by, just gave me a nod. I said, "How are you?" He said, "I'm great. How are you?" And then I just stood there and
that works. That absolutely works. Coach Turner, chaperone, and by the way, Krissy usually sees all these. She did not see them this week. Chaperone 100 kids at Chuck E. Cheese or 100 seniors at the Grand Canyon.
Oh, Grand Canyon. You ever been to Chuck E. Cheese?
I'm going Chuck E. Cheese, bro.
Are you serious right now?
I'm serious as a heart attack.
Because you'd be nervous about those kids around the canyons? Oh, yeah.
Man, I ain't messing with them scenes around the canyon. I'm going with the kids at Chuck E. Cheese.
I'm with Steve on this one.
We're taking the thing and beating.
Yeah, just wait till Chucky comes out and makes it rain with the candy, and all the kids are going crazy.
And all the tickets.
Yeah,
but
the kids can't leave.
They can't leave. They are right there in the building, and there's enough games and toys for them to be hyped up and party on.
So you're saying the seniors, they might wander off?
Man, somebody might get lost in that canyon. I ain't trying to have no search party.
That's why we haven't signed that.
I ain't having no search party.
Coach O'Neill.
At least with Chucky, we locked in one area.
I'm going Grand Canyon, man. I gotta go. I'd rather go there. I would have every parent sign something. Look, if your dumbass kid decides to go,
no, Steve, you got the question wrong. 100 kids at Chuck E. Cheese or 100 Golden Girls, senior citizens at the Grand Canyon.
Oh, I'm definitely going with the kids at Chuck E. Cheese. I lose somebody's grandmother in the Grand Canyon. What the hell?
I just want to go see the Grand Canyon instead of flying over it. So,
first of all, you got 100 seniors at the Grand Canyon. They're not trying to do all that walking.
Yeah, man.
Right?
Give me the kids at Chuck E. Cheese.
Because you got to, hey, Coach O'Neill, you're going to have to push all them wheelchairs.
That's fine. Get a good workout while I'm at it. I'll just say, sit here, put on some sunscreen. I'll be back in about, a couple hours.
Casey, hit the lottery for $10 million now or an investment that pays you $20 million in 20 years?
I'll go with the investment.
All right, Coach Turner.
Go ahead and have that investment. Give me that $10 million right now.
He wants it right now. Coach Turner, the lesser of three evils. Have your cell phone stolen, your car stolen, or your identity stolen?
Identity stolen.
Coach O'Neal.
Identity.
All right, Casey, we're going for it right now with you. Separate laundry or just do it all together?
All together.
A household chore you do not mind.
Dishes.
If animals could talk, which animal would be the rudest?
Probably a squirrel. Those things are nasty, man. They get after it.
Have you ever been kicked out of anywhere? Even one of your own games?
No, I've never been kicked out of a game. I don't think I've been told not to come into a place before. That was a long time ago. So
What'd you do, Casey?
I mean, I might have already been to a few places before that where they're like, "You're not coming in here," and I was like, "All right, sounds good." So it's not technically kicked out.
What are you extremely bad at?
Oh man, I don't know if we have enough time. It's rapid fire. I'm extremely bad at
showing your big brother that you love him. I know.
Keeping my road rage at a minimum.
Oh, okay. All right, Coach Turner, it is your turn on the hot seat. Who or what in your life is underrated?
It's typical rapid fire with Steve. He's like, let me think about it.
Who or what is underrated?
Nutella?
Who or what?
Mm-hmm. Like the MC skills of Casey O'Neal. I don't know.
Flavor Flav.
Oh boy.
Oh,
I'm gonna say J-Rock.
Okay. All right. We'll take that. Snooze button or wake up right away?
Depends on the day. but I'd rather wake up right away. But that snooze button gets hit sometimes.
All right. What job would you never take? I was on a podcast, me and Paula's podcast. I will never, ever drive a truck that has something explosive in it, like flammable liquids, anything. I won't ever, ever do that. You couldn't pay me enough money. What job would you never take?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Funeral director?
Nah, that wouldn't bother me.
Porta potty cleaner.
Assistant coach with the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay, Krissy got it right there. I ain't cleaning no porta potties.
So you're not going to drive the Jiffy John truck and switch them out?
Anything
Don't look down.
Anything they got to do with feces, no.
All right. In your life, what would be more useful, a rewind button or a pause button?
Rewind button.
30 days in solitary confinement or 1 year on a deserted island alone?
1 year on a deserted island alone.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is your starting five. The starting five. A-Squared Home and Office Solutions is the go-to source for home or office network and audio-visual solutions. We can help with smart home integration, wireless networking, media rooms, security systems, and more. We will link technology to your lifestyle seamlessly. Read our reviews online. Visit homeandofficesolutions.com for more info or call 240-356-8832. A-Squared Home and Office Solutions. We are home advisor, screened, and approved.
Take It To You with Turner and O'Neal would like to thank our friends of the program: Thomas Alford, Melissa Alshab, Margie Billings, Adam Cross, Chelsea Cross, Paula Cross, Lynn Johnson, Erica O'Neill, Sean Parker, Kathleen Talbot, Andrea Tarones, Timothy Whittier. If you'd like to become a friend of the program, go to www.turnerandoneal.com and click Become a Friend. Collins Funeral Home has served families of Greater Washington with compassion and kindness since 1939. Our friends John and Terry McHugh carry on this family tradition into the third generation. The McHugh brothers, along with their experienced funeral directors and caring staff, are ready to assist you at any time. Whether you have experienced a loss, need to make plans in advance, or simply have a question, please contact them to discuss how they can assist at your time of need. Visit collinsfuneralhome.com or call 301-593-9500.
This segment of Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill is sponsored by World Class Training, locations in Rockville, Maryland and Alexandria, Virginia. Performance training and physical therapy. That's what you'll find at Healthy Baller. Hi, this is Kurt Cross, producer of Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. Paula and I have our 13 and 11-year-old children training with the wonderful crew at Healthy Baller Rockville. Healthy Baller has created a customized training experience for our kids, and we are super pleased with the results. Their excellent training and dedication to each athlete is apparent from your first consultation through the ongoing training sessions. Paula and I can personally attest to the results. Become your own success story. They offer group and team training, individual workouts, or semi-private training in Rockville and Alexandria. Call 844-622-5537 or visit healthyballer.com.
Portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome to the podcast a woman who has an impressive resume, and we are lucky to have her join us today. Coach Tamika Dudley leads the Sidwell Friends Quakers, currently ranked as the #1 team in the country with an undefeated record. Having previously led Woodbridge High School to state tournament appearances from 2014 to 2019, she was named Cardinal District Coach of the Year, Regional Coach of the Year, Virginia Class 6 Coach of the Year, USA Today Virginia Coach of the Year, and was named Washington Post All-Met Coach of the Year. Recently named Wooden Legacy Coach of the Year in Washington, D.C. I'm going to run out of time before I can say much more, so let's welcome to the podcast Coach Tamika Dudley. Coach,
Hi,
look, Coach, I introduced a lot of people. I'm out of breath. The music's going to run out before I can finish your resume. How's it going on this sunny Monday morning, Coach Dudley?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on your show. And so far, so good. I'm enjoying this little downtime from some games and, the rigmarole of practice. But, everything's good. Weather's great and, ready for the holidays.
Can you shorten your resume so when you come back in season 4, I don't run out of breath? That's all I'm asking. I mean, stop winning, stop being Coach of the Year. Look, I know what it's like out in Virginia, and I'm going to be honest with you. I coached at Langley High School, and I'm glad I was done before your reign of terror began. So I was out of your way. I was not in your way at all. But, gentlemen, please welcome Coach Dudley.
Coach Steve here. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule to join us. Excited to talk with you today.
Thank you.
Coach, it's an honor to have you on here. Big fan. We've never met in person, but excited to talk. Coach Turner is a big fan as well, so we are ready to chop this thing up.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Let's do it. Coach Dudley, you go from Woodbridge, where you clearly had success, and then you step into a different arena, the ISL. Immediately, your success continued, posting a 26-6 record in your first year at Sidwell. Having talent helps, of course, but 26 wins in year one doesn't come easy. So what did Coach Dudley do to make that transition to private school that you believe impacted your success right away at Sidwell?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think it takes a group of talented kids to really kind of propel your team in the right direction. So that's first and foremost. It was nice stepping into Sidwell Friends with a player of the caliber of Kiki Rice, but then, was able to bring in a few other pieces, Jaden Donovan, Kai Miller, and my daughter came in as a 8th grader. So, although she didn't play that first season, kind of like looking ahead to kind of build our program. But I think the most important thing was to come in and just focus on changing the culture. Okay. I didn't come into Sidwell with the mindset of I'm trying to win a bunch of basketball games. Ultimately, I was tasked with the job to change the culture there, and that has always been my focus. And, I was fortunate enough to have a supportive administration at Sidwell Friends, great parents, very talented players, and everyone kind of bought in and rallied behind, what we had kind of laid out. So I really think that was kind of the catalyst.
And when you answer the question as such, I'll tell everyone who's not a part of her social media following our audience, she truly means that, because I've seen posts on your social media where you said things like, hey, if you win a championship as a 7th grade AAU coach, if your players aren't returning for the 8th grade season, the wins didn't really mean as much as you thought they meant. So I think you're staying true to what you believe there.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's what worked for me also, and my previous coaching situations as well.
Coach Turner.
Tamika, great answer. And I want to find out from you, what are some of the things like in your pyramid of what you want that culture to be? What characteristics do you look for in the young women that you're trying to bring to Sidwell Friends?
Yeah, I think the first thing is to make sure that we bring in kids who have the team first mentality. We want kids who are willing to sacrifice and be committed. And I think those are really important qualities. I 100% think that it's important to have great parents that are supportive and will allow you to coach their kids, and kids that will allow you to coach them as well. I mean, that's tough to come by sometimes, so that's super important. And then, of course, you just want, in general, you just want, great girls, good kids who value each other and their teammates. I'm a big believer in our team and our program that every kid needs to feel valued, not just by me, but by their teammates, their leaders. And I think our kids do a great job of that, all of our kids, whether they're starting 5 or they're the last one off the bench, they feel like they're important to the overall team, objective.
Coach O'Neill.
Coach, first of all, I love that comment before. Like, the sign of a great coach is, great, you win a championship, but is every player coming back next year, and did they enjoy the experience? I love that. I kind of want to enhance on what Coach Turner asked. Is there something on a wall or in the locker room or something in your office or something that the young ladies that play for you kind of understand, sort of, I'll use it in letters, MVP, sort of like the mission, the vision, and your principles? Something that you could share with us that you kind of live by and want them to live by each day?
Yeah. Well, there's 2 things I've always kind of, I feel like I put out there. One is I always use success, never rest. That's a big one for me. Like, I feel like, and it doesn't mean you're always working on your game. It just means in general, like everything you do in life, in the classroom, how you deal with people, like that's all like the success, never rest. Like you're always working, to be a better person. So that's a big one. But on the locker room door also too, we have a saying, and I did this at Woodbridge, and it said, if you're not prepared to put the team first, turn around. And it's right on the door as you walk out, and I just think that the one thing that we've been able to do is to get our teams, and not just our kids, our parents, our administration, to kind of buy into that concept. Is like, it's not about me. It's not about yourself. It's about the whole group.
Coach, can I come play for you?
Sure, come on.
Right.
You got me fired up. Well, I love it. Go ahead, Kurtis.
In episode 8 this season, we had Kiki Rice as our guest.
Yeah.
She hadn't yet made her college decision, and now we know that she will be a UCLA Bruin. What is that process like for you as a coach to help her and her family navigate the recruiting process? I mean, you've got coaches coming to campus. They're all chomping at the bit. They're trying to, get ahead in the pecking order. And I imagine you're having conversations and you're answering texts and emails, and it could be overwhelming, but we all know you signed up for it and you don't mind it. I'm sure you're able to push these young kids forward, these student athletes. What's that like for you? How do you help your students navigate what could be a circus? I'm sure there were 10, 12 schools that were recruiting Miss Rice. How did that work for you, and how do you navigate that?
Yeah, well, one, I'll just say that Kiki and her family did a phenomenal job of handling this process. They really took their time, and they were very, very thoughtful. And Kiki is really a thoughtful kid when she's making these kind of decisions. For me, I try to just kind of, push her a little bit in the right direction. Like, okay, let's prioritize. Like, what's the most important thing to you? We kind of talked about that a little bit during COVID, because it was kind of rough. Like, she was a sophomore and then, a senior, and there was that COVID year where she was trying to make these decisions without being on campus. So that was a whole nother level of like, it was complicated.
Sure.
But So anyway, just kind of nudging her to kind of prioritize her, what's important to her. And as far as talking to college coaches, there was a lot of conversations, but when September 1 came around of her junior year, I was like, whoop, whoop,
Right.
got one off my plate. So, but yeah, I honestly, I wish I could take more credit for her process, but her family and Kiki, they did a phenomenal job. I just kind of was there as like a supporting cast, and, if she needed me, there to be accessible.
I mean, we couldn't keep her here in College Park, or
I wish.
Well, you know what? We all have access to, the Pac-10 network and all this kind of stuff. So we'll be able to watch her. We certainly will. And we're going to enjoy watching that process. Coach Turner.
Coach, you're going through a similar thing that I'm going through now, and Coach O'Neill has also gone through. Talk to us about coaching your own child and how for me, it's I try to change hats. When I'm on the court, I'm coach. Off the court, as soon as that goes, I'm back to being dad. Talk to us how you've dealt with that experience thus far.
Yeah, Kendall's a really easy kid to coach. I mean, she just does all the little things, and she works really, really hard. And for me, that's like the most important thing. Missed shots and those things are going to happen. And I treat all my players the same way. If you work hard and you're doing what you're supposed to do, and as it relates to the intangibles, I'm not going to have a whole lot to say. You know what I mean? And she does all those things. So, I mean, she's a really easy kid to coach. And we've never really, she asked me for, advice and stuff like that off the court, but I feel like I'm more mom off the court. But on the court, I hold her to the same standard I hold the rest of the kids.
Coach, I love that answer, because I coach my son, and he graduated high school a couple of years ago. And now I'm actually going through it, coaching hoops myself, coaching my 7th grade daughter. Little different there, but doing my best. Actually, before I ask my question, who wins in a game of horse? You or Coach Singletary?
Oh,
I'm gonna always say me.
That's what I thought. Okay, good. All right. So my question is, and I asked a lot of coaches this: is there a moment you can think? It could be a win, it could be a practice, it could be anything, where you kind of had a moment of restoration, and you were like, this is why I coach basketball. This is why I do what I do. Is there something that jumps out at you?
Well, besides being on our podcast.
Right.
This
right.
is the
Yeah.
defining moment for her, I'm sure.
Yeah, I will say this past week when we won that game, when we were able to beat DeSoto, that was huge. I mean, Sidwell, when I came into Sidwell, the program was on the way, it was kind of on a down cycle. I don't want, but when I came in, to have the kids that we had and to be able to come, to this moment against DeSoto and be the number 1 team in the country, after our journey, starting from pretty much the bottom and really coming all the way to the top. And not only that, earning it, we earned it. I don't feel like it was handed to us. It was something that we earned. And so that moment was huge. And it was awesome. I would say that, and then winning the state championship with my Woodbridge program, that was huge. Same thing. We worked really, really hard to get to the top. And so those are 2 defining moments, I feel like, where I'm like, definitely the reason why I'm in this and I'm coaching basketball.
Outstanding.
Coach, you walked right into this one. You have a schedule that includes nationally ranked teams. You recently won that game in which your Quakers knocked off the previous number 1 ranked team, DeSoto. What prepares your team and you as a coach for this stage and to field such a schedule? You're playing teams like either Visitation, or you might play Elizabeth Seton. You jump out into the WCAC. I'm sure you have some DCSAA public school games. I'm sure as a coach, with your resume, you spread it around. You have conversations with other coaches. You don't want your girls to play just in the ISL. You want to get them some national exposure. What does that look like for you? What prepares you and your team for that national stage?
Well, one, I think we have kids that just work really, really hard. I mean, an example would be Kiki. She came back from USA this summer and went right to soccer. You know what I mean? Like the work ethic these kids possess is unreal. And not only are they that on the floor or the field, they're also that in the classroom. I think Sidwell prepares these kids to, one, face tough situations and kind of get to the other side of it. And I think it translates to the court. So I feel like our kids are prepared mentally for this stage. But I do think it's a testament to the work they put in on the court, off the court, in the preseason. I mean, we still lift 3 times a week sometimes, so they're very committed to, the task at hand. And then at the end of the day, we just want to compete. Like, I'm not really, if we win, we lose. Like, of course you want to win basketball games, but ultimately we want to have the experience. So that's ultimately what drives us, is like, we want to have a great experience for these kids. So, we're not thinking about wins and losses. We're thinking about, them remembering this experience and just having fun with it.
The results take care of themselves, right?
Exactly.
All right. Coach Turner.
Tamika, talk to us about some of the biggest influence in your coaching career, and maybe some of the things that they gave to you or that you've taken from them to make a part of your programs that you've had.
Yeah. No, I was super blessed to have some amazing coaches in my career. My first high school experience, I played for Tim Taylor, who is now at Navy, and he's had several top Division I coaching stints. He was an assistant at UVA for a number of years. He was at North Carolina most recently before he took the head coaching position at Navy. So I was able to have him as my high school coach. And actually, when I was in high school, I was kind of like a knucklehead, right? And I had this talent, but he was the first person that told me, like, if you get your grades, I'll get you to college. And, back then, women's basketball wasn't as big as it is now. So I kind of just bought into it, and he really influenced my life in a positive way. And then he actually left before I graduated, and I had another coach who was also kind of like a father figure to me. And, really did a great job of, teaching me how to treat others and put other people first, and take care of other people. And he taught me that, and that's something I've carried with me for a long time. And then, of course, I had 3 different college coaches in college, and all who still coach. Tony Bazzella's at Seton. Daniel LaForce, man, her son plays in the league. Terrence Mann, she coached at Rhode Island, and had a couple of coaching stints. And Stephanie Gately is also at Fordham. So I've been exposed to a lot of really quality coaches who I've been able to take some really valuable lessons from.
Coach, where did you play?
I played at Long Island University in Brooklyn.
And what about high school?
I played at Woodbridge.
Okay, I did not know that. All right.
Yeah.
Coach O'Neal.
So my last question is, and I don't know if coaches stop. Look, I don't think a lot of coaches do this enough, where they stop and kind of reflect on the type of coach they want to be each day, right? And be present. We all have busy schedules and get frustrated and things go on. But I'm going to take this question a step further. How do you handle with your assistant coaches managing, sort of balance with them and letting them have responsibility, but also them coaching a certain way that you want, where they grow as assistants and then someday could be, a head coach like yourself?
Yeah, I take that job actually really serious. Like, I feel like that's important to empower others, but also to make sure that we send good people out there to coach kids, because it's tough. Sometimes it's hard to find really quality people to coach, youth sports. But I'm big on a lot delegating. I delegate a lot. I feel like I have a lot on my plate. So I'm like, okay, I need you to do that. So I definitely believe in delegating. And then also I allow my coaches to coach. There may be moments in the game where I say that someone has an idea. I'm like, okay, let's do it, draw it up. Or, during our Christ the King game, my assistant coach was like, let's go into a different defense. And I was kind of hesitant for a second. And I was like, screw it, let's do it. You know what I mean? So I really try to trust them. And it's every time that I've been able to to relinquish that control, I don't want to say control, because I feel like I'm not of that mindset, but it's always been positive results. So I let them do their job.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Coach.
Yeah.
Coach Turner, if you have anything, I'd like you to ask it, but I think what we have on our screen right now is a modest Coach Dudley. I just happened to type in something about Coach Dudley, and this is what I get. Tamika Dudley is one of the greatest players in the history of the women's basketball program, playing at LIU from, I won't say the years because it doesn't matter what years those were, but she was a 3-time All-NEC first-time player. She graduated as the all-time leader in not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 categories, including You scored 1,745 points, Coach. Did anybody else touch the ball? 1,700. I mean, we do understand that 1,000 or 1,500 is the benchmark. 1,745 points, 380 assists. You did some things at LIU, it looks like, huh?
Yeah, no, I mean, how did these?
Are they the Dolphins?
Go ahead,
That's the mascot.
and say you did the damn thing.
Just say it. We need to hear that. I mean, NEC tournament honors 3 times, most valuable player. She led them to a championship in whatever year that was, but it wasn't this century. So, Coach Dudley, don't be so much. Do your girls know that you are like Miss Basketball walking around there?
No, I don't. I haven't told the girls that. Every once in a while, I get on the court and I show them a little bit, but.
Oh, Coach Turner does that too. Because Coach Turner, don't you do like a 3-point shootout with your boys sometimes?
I kill them with all the trick shots.
Coach Turner, you got anything else for her?
No, I mean, not even a question, just more of a statement. Like, one, we're very blessed to have you on here today. And Tamika, I really, really want to thank you for taking the time out of your schedule. I don't think that the women in our area get enough credit, and it's important. We've talked about it as a podcast here. We want to be able to empower and put the women in the DMV out there, regardless of what the sport is or what they're doing in life. And you're one of those people. And I just want to say, man, I'm blessed and honored to have you here today. Know that if I ever could do anything to help you, please know you can pick up the phone and call me anytime. I'm excited to see how the rest of the season goes because you got a heck of a team and they're fun to watch. I mean, Kiki and my son work out a lot of healthy ball together. So I know the hard work that you're talking about that she puts into it because it's fun for me to go up there and watch her kick all the boys' butts through all the workouts. So enjoy this and congrats again on the Wood and the Legacy Award this year. I appreciate being able to have that opportunity to be next to you with that award this year. So keep doing what you're doing and we're proud of you and want to keep watching your success.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
And for the record, Coach Turner has wanted to get you on this podcast for a while. So just because the call came last week or whatever, doesn't mean we haven't been trying because he's had his eye on what Sidwell is doing over there for quite some time. But Coach, we've gotten to the fun part of this podcast. Do you listen to our podcast at all?
This is actually my first time listening to your podcast.
Oh my goodness, we haven't made it to Sidwell yet. Well, you know what? We got a surprise for you then. On this podcast, we have something called the Starting Five, where Coach O'Neill and Coach Turner have to answer 5 questions in 30 seconds or less per question. Now, with our coaches, we only give you 1 question, so you're a guest. But Krissy, can you please let her know what happens if she does not answer in 30 seconds? All right, so you don't want to get that ding, Coach Dudley. I'm going to tell you, no one has ever gotten that ding, but here is your 1 question. You are going to place a bet on this 3-on-3 game. Now, I call it 3-on-3. Now it's 3v3 or, whatever. But who do you have? A healthy Paige Beckers, Taurasi, and Lobo, coached by Gino, or Candace Parker, Lisa Leslie, and Cheryl Miller, coached by Pat Summitt. They're all in their prime. So we're going Beckers, Taurasi, and Lobo versus Parker, Lisa Leslie, and Cheryl Miller. Who's winning that game? I know where my money is.
Yeah, I'm going Parker.
Yes, coached by Pat Summitt. That's where I'm going. Coach O'Neill, where are you going?
I'm going Taurasi, Lobo, Beckers.
Whatever. Turner, I know you're going Taurasi. That's your girl.
Taurasi is my girl, but when you put that 3-on-3, I got to go with Pat and her girls right there. I'm
going with the first
beating them 3. They're not beating those 3.
Pat's got the size. That's the thing. Pat's got 3 6-footers there.
First of all,
but the heart.
But Candace Parker is no matchup for Paige. She can play. Candace can play any position. First of all, and at that height, Paige, she gonna put her in the post all night.
She's just gonna punish her off the block, right? All right, Coach. Before we let you go, please tell our listeners and viewers how they can connect with Sidwell Friends Girls Basketball because they want to be a part of this season. If no other season, they want to pick up and get on the train now.
Yeah, well, you can follow SFS Athletics on Twitter. Me personally, I do a lot of posting for our team and our program. I'm at Dudley Tamika on Twitter. And then on Instagram, I'm at Ball Till You Fall. That's BALLTILYAFALL 22 on Insta.
And you know what? We will put that in the show notes. We'll make sure that people can find you. We hope that we are able to increase your following. But what we want to see is we want to see you keep doing what you do. Look, I coached girls basketball on the high school level at Langley, at Churchill. I coached some, I was an assistant Division III. What you're doing for these young ladies is you're building fine young ladies. Forget basketball. Because you have 13 girls on your team, not all of them will play in the WNBA or overseas, but you're making fine young women for our society. So thank you for doing that. Tell Coach Singletary that you have now been on the podcast, because he has as well. And you know what? We got to start a battle, Steve and Coach. We got to see who gets more viewers. Will this episode get it, or will Coach Singletary's episode get it?
Definitely will. Just like the horse game.
I got one more thing. I got one more thing before Tamika goes.
Please.
Tamika, you better get Kurtis Cross's phone number, because he's got a young lady getting ready to be in the high school that you might be need to take a look at.
Oh, okay, definitely.
Oh, yeah, she plays a little wing. She was a post at 5'6" when she was like 10 years old, but I think she's plateaued. So we'll see. We'll see. Hey, look, if Sidwell's a great program. She's at a great school right now, educationally speaking. But thank you for that plug, Coach Turner. But yes, my daughter has been around the sport since she was in a stroller. So I'll make sure I bring her down there to meet you. How about that?
Yes, indeed. Please do that. For
All
sure.
right. All right. Now, look, thanks for joining us today, Coach. We wish you well for the remainder of the season. We failed to mention one thing on this podcast. We're talking to a coach who's the coach of the number one team in the country right now. Did we forget to say that?
No, it was on there, but you can't say that enough.
Yeah,
the number one team, not Washington Post number one, not Max Preps number one, but all around ESPN, Max Preps, USA Today. Coach, you're doing the damn thing. Thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoy a few days off. Happy holidays. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Coach Tamika Dudley.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate
Happy
you.
happy holidays, Coach.
All
Thank
right.
you. I appreciate you.
Yep.
Hey, Coach, good luck.
Thank you. Take care.
You too.
Gentlemen, Coach Turner, I have to thank you for bringing on that wonderful coach, Tamika Dudley. She's humble. She has a great team, and we're going to talk about that right after this break. Let's take it to break, Krissy. Next Level Lacrosse. Train like a Spartan. Next Level Lacrosse is dedicated to providing a terrific lacrosse experience that is intensely focused on player development and character formation. Players at all levels will improve significantly through professional coaching and carefully designed training programs. We stress proper technique and a tireless work ethic. From beginning programs to rec leagues, travel clubs to summer programs, we develop the young and experienced athletes alike. Next Level Lacrosse has a rich tradition of running the best middle and high school lacrosse leagues in the DMV area. You'll find us at www.nextlevelspartans.com or call 240-497-1460.
We invite your questions, comments, and show ideas. Simply go to www.turnerandoneal.com and click Submit Your Idea.
Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill would like to thank our partners, sponsors, and donors. Our premier partner, Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. Our partners, Dynamic DJ Entertainment, Healthy Baller, the Insurance Alliance Group LLC, and Marquise Evans of Keller Williams Capital Properties. Our sponsors, O'Neill Development LLC, Next Level Lacrosse, A Squared Home and Office Solutions, Collins Funeral Home, and Peace Players International. And our donors, Winsight Media, and Gene the Barber, now Max Life Barber and Salon.
This segment of Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill is sponsored by...
If you're buying or selling your home, start your journey. Your goals plus our expertise equals success. Welcome to Keller Williams Capital Properties. Let us work with you to find and purchase the home of your dreams. Working with us guarantees you the local knowledge and market information you need. We are local experts with a reputation for excellence. We're here to help guide you through every step of the process with expert advice and representation. For more information, contact Marquise Evans at 301-357-5608 or visit www.yourmyagent.com. Keller Williams Capital Properties and Marquise Evans. www.yourmyagent.com.
Portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take It to You with Turner and O'Neill.
We are back with Take It to Yo with Turner and O'Neill. Thanks for listening and watching as we enjoy meeting you here each week. This segment's partner is Marquise Evans and Keller Williams Capital Properties. Gentlemen, Coach Dudley, her Quakers are #1 in the country. She has 3 FIBA gold medalists and 3 players who are ranked in the ESPN's top recruits for 2022, 23, and 24, including, of course, 2024 class player Kendall Dudley, her daughter. We're looking at a bright future for Sidwell basketball, fellas. Talk to me. I mean, we couldn't have gotten a better coach, a better guest at a better time. She just beat DeSoto. She's riding high, and but I don't think this wave is over. I mean, you don't just beat DeSoto and then go that way. She's coaching these girls the right way. She's also coaching middle school volleyball, and she's doing it the right way. Another coach who was doing it the right way. Coach Turner.
The nuggets. I mean, she kept throwing nuggets, man, and I was writing them down. Your success never rests. If you're not ready to put the team first, turn around. Like, man, I'm stealing those. Thanks, Coach Dudley. I'm stealing those, Coach Dudley. But I mean, you got a coach who gets it. She understands the mindset of the young ladies she coaches. And you see why she's been successful for her time as a head coach. And
I mean, even before Sidwell.
And then even to hear, her as a player and the things she brought as a player, as well as the people who've coached her. She's had some unbelievable coaches who obviously you can easily see have had some serious influence on her life and her coaching career. And I think you see that from people in all aspects. When you have those influences that are able to help you in your field of work, you tend to have success. And Coach Dudley's having unbelievable success, and we were wishing her much, much more. I'd love to see them finish #1 in the country and her have a chance to be the National Coach of the Year.
So what stands out to me is one thing and one thing only. I had to read her accolades. She didn't talk about them. And that's the humility. She's not here for herself to tout, 1,700 points on this shoulder and 3-time player of the year on that shoulder.
She made it clear she's a server of others.
Right. So you got to respect that, because there are some coaches who, and you two are not these coaches whose personality is so large that, they've got to wear that on their sleeve all the time. That's not where she is, and I can appreciate that, because that allows her, in my opinion, to coach the 12th girl on the bench like she can coach the first girl on the bench. She's not saying, hey, this is who I am, you need to match this. I think, and she didn't say this, they have to match the best version of whoever they can be this year. And currently, it sits at #1 in the country.
You see a lot of, I don't know if you see it a lot, but players who were amazing in their heyday, right? High school, college, obviously her accolades on the court are unbelievable. And sometimes that doesn't, whether it's in coaching, transfer over to being a great head coach, right? A lot of times you see some of the most successful head coaches not as successful as players, but with Coach coming on today and being so balanced and she checks all the check marks for a great head coach.
Right.
Cares about the players first, right? Not worried about what's going on, outside of just the court, and just focusing on her players, being calm, being cool, teaching them the right way, giving out responsibility to her assistant coaches. She's outstanding. And just like you, Steve, I'm sitting there writing things down like, wow, that is fantastic. I ask her about mission, vision, and principles. She's like, oh yeah, I got this. Like, boom, rattles it off. Unbelievable.
I'm still trying to see that game of horse between her and Coach Singletary.
I think she wins. And she wasn't like bragging. She's like, yeah, it's going to be me.
Yeah, it's going to. Just simple as that, right? Coach Turner, any wrap up on that? I think that was a great segment. I appreciate you for bringing her on, of course.
As always, I'm always intrigued and wanting to hear what other coaches, certainly in my field of play, are doing for their kids and doing with their kids, and the things that they've learned from others. So, as I always say, if you're not learning, you're not getting better. And for me, I learned a lot today from Coach Dudley, and again, just want to thank her for giving us a little bit of her wisdom in what she does in her field.
I'll tell you what, when she wins that ISL, we need to bring her back, and we need to see what that feeling feels like. Look, we're coming right back with our weekly sports wrap-up. DJ Krissy, let's do it. Building your brand is an important part of your business growth. By advertising with Take It to You with Turner and O'Neill, you'll gain the exposure and brand recognition behind our podcast. From season to season, we retain 92% of our advertisers. With category exclusivity, your business will benefit from our popularity online and during the podcast. Advertising with Turner and O'Neill equals exposure on Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, and more than 15 listening platforms total. Inquire today and let's partner to build your brand.
At Peace Players, we use the power of sport to unite, educate, and inspire young people to create a more peaceful world. We offer support programming, peace education, and leadership development to those living in communities in conflict. We challenge the hate that is driven by the fear of our differences. We bridge divides between people through the game of basketball, and we develop young leaders who help to change perceptions. Find out more at www.peaceplayers.org.
This segment of Take It to Yo with Turner and O'Neill is sponsored by
Insurance Alliance Group manages the gap between damage appraisal estimates from your insurance company and what you are rightfully owed based on your policy. They work on behalf of policyholders with claim assistance and disputes to maximize claims. Insurance Alliance Group serves as professional advisors and trusted advocates. The Insurance Alliance Group handles business and home property loss. Request a free claim review with the property loss professionals. Insurance Alliance Group. Visit us at insurancealliancegroup.com or call 866-574-4773.
portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take It to Yo with Turner and O'Neill.
Welcome back to Take It to Yo with Turner and O'Neill. This segment's partner is the Insurance Alliance Group, LLC. Let's get to our weekly sports wrap-up. Gentlemen, Baltimore did it again. They went for two. They failed. Cost them a shot at overtime. Coach O'Neill, a couple of weeks ago, you said that they're not really thinking about could they have earned a home game with that win or where that puts them in the standings. This is twice that Harbaugh had a gut feeling, and twice that he failed. Twice it cost them the possibility of a win. Your thoughts?
Well, you don't expect it to happen like that again, but I think he's going with his gut and feeling it. Obviously, they've got a good kicker, but hey, I think the story alone in that game is them being in that game. I don't think many people expected them to be battling like that with the Packers, and to have their backup quarterback in there playing as well as he did, it certainly turned a lot of different heads. So he's going to feel the heat for it. I still think Baltimore is, as they get healthy, is a dangerous team. If they become healthy and squeeze into the playoffs, I don't think many teams want to play those guys. So I don't know. Coach T, what do you think?
I'm agreeing with you. They're definitely not a team that you want to see in the playoffs if they're healthy. And you know what? Why not? Why not go for it? I mean, I think he felt
because it ended in 2 losses. That's why.
Hey, what would Coach Dudley? What would she do?
She would have went for it.
All right. Well, he was wrong. He went for it twice, and he cost them. I mean, that's 2 wins. Right now, they are 8-6. They are 10-4 if they get into overtime and win those games. And you get a home game, and I guarantee you,
the owner, go to overtime and you lose the games. What's the difference?
Right? No, you're correct. If they win, I guarantee you, the owner would like to have a playoff home game.
Maybe.
Too bad for the owner. He got enough money.
Okay, so that's where we are. For the first time, a Tom Brady-led team lost, and the opposing team did not score a touchdown. How bad did the Bucs look last night? I was watching the Lakers lose, so I didn't catch much of the game.
I couldn't believe the score. I came home from the Caps game, turned it on. I couldn't believe it was 9-0 late in the fourth quarter.
Tom Brady showed me last night that he could also be a great wrestler. As the best slam job I've seen in a long time.
Did you see him take that Surface Pro?
Yes.
That Surface Pro, I hope they have the, what do you call it, like the extra care coverage on it or something?
Forget the extra care coverage. It ain't even hurting his pockets. He buy them 5 more, 10 more things.
But what did we see last night out of the Bucs? They just had a down week or what?
I mean, obviously they had a few guys out as well. Steve, Kurtis, myself, everyone, Krissy, we've said this before on the podcast, that teams like the Packers, like the Ravens, that are successful and have done it year in and year out are going to go through crappy times like this and come out of it stronger. They were missing a couple people, but it's still very, very shocking. And at home, of all places, too.
Right.
I like Tom at the end of the game in the press conference. Keep it simple. Keep it about getting better. I thought he was really great about his young talent and how this is opportunity for them to grow. And you know what? Let's get to work. We get to practice, get to work, and we get back to the next one.
We saw something. I saw a bottom line that I've never seen before in all of his coaching years. Coach Belichick apologized to the media and said that he was probably short with them the other night. So maybe he's turning over a new leaf. But you say these teams go through it. The Lions beat the Cardinals. What are the Cardinals going through? They let the Lions beat them.
I do want to know what Tom said to the coach. That's the only thing that's missing for me.
Because he went over there, didn't he?
Oh, he did. In the press conference, he said, "Oh, just football."
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We want to know about that. By the way, I forgot to add this to our script. Tiger and his son played this weekend. We thought 6 months ago Tiger would never play.
That was
fun to watch.
Awesome to watch. There's a lot of highlights on the gram and on Facebook. Like just watching his son's mannerisms that are all his.
Oh,
right.
Is unbelievable.
That dude is hitting like I can't believe the shots that young man makes, and like he's unbelievable.
It was so fun to watch. And then
No,
my man Daly and his son win it.
Hey, he's got that cigarette hanging out from the lip there, right?
You mean Santa Claus Daly?
Standing over there, getting the dub. Still got it.
He still got it. Those two, see those two families, 1 and 2. That's pretty cool.
It was very cool, and a lot of interesting dynamics with professional players and whether it's their dads or their kids or vice versa. I mean, just
Krissy's catching a photo of John Daly and his son on the screen right now, and she can't stop laughing.
Oh, the pants are awesome.
Santa Claus, baby.
They rock the pants.
Hey, some heroes don't wear capes, baby, right? They just
they rock the pants this weekend.
They rock the Marlboro Lights.
Lions over Cardinals, Colts over Patriots, Steelers over Titans. Any surprises there? What do you guys got to say about that? The Cardinals looked stinky poo-poo last night.
That's a huge surprise, but good for the Lions. They're getting a little mojo. They're building a little bit of a core kind of belief system in themselves. A little too late, obviously. Colts, Patriots, that's a toss-up there. Steelers over Titans, that was a surprise as well. But again, great organizations just kind of hang around. The Steelers just kind of hang around.
That's what I was going to – you took the words out of my mouth, Casey. Steelers just find a way, like all the time. It doesn't matter when you count them out or you got them at the top. They just figure it out, and they get some wins that you don't expect them to get. The other ones, I'm happy for the Lions and Colts, Patriots. It is what it is.
All right, Urban Meyer, we talked it up last week, and I mean, literally, when we let the dust settle on this podcast, bam, he was fired. Do we expect to ever see him again in the NFL in a head coaching position? I'm thinking not.
No chance in the NFL. and hey, I'll put my hand up. I thought he was at least going to get through the year, maybe another year. But geez, it was that bad. No chance in the NFL. And I don't even think in a big-time college program. I mean, all the stuff that's surfacing about him, who wants to take that risk? But he is he's a big name.
Steve, I felt like you thought that he would get through this year, but then that's it, not another year, right?
Yeah, I thought just this year, but hey, they weren't playing. It's time to go.
Clearly, they're starting the search now. Let's get them out of here now. College basketball on the women's side: South Carolina, NC State, Stanford, Arizona. Any reason to worry about UConn? We know that in late February, early March, they'll turn it around. What will that chemistry be like if Paige is out the full 8 weeks or longer? She's clearly the missing piece. They lost again last night to Louisville, I think.
I don't know that Paige is just the missing piece. I mean, I think she really puts them over the top when she's there.
Okay.
I think not, like if she's out, it's hard to not have AZ and the other young lady. I can't think of her name right now.
Yeah, she was out before the season even started. Yeah.
So those two being, if you had those two, I mean, they probably at least win one of the 2 games that they lost here recently. Like I think they would have won yesterday if they had AZ and the other young lady.
Correct.
The depth is what's hurting them right now more than just not having Paige, in my opinion. So Gino can coach, man. He's gonna figure this out. I mean, I was impressed to see them because he doesn't do this a lot. He played a lot of zone in that game and still pulled it off against Louisville.
Yeah, it was close. They were up with a few minutes to go. They ended up losing by 5, 6 maybe or whatever.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'd be interested to see where that goes. Obviously, they're going to play somewhere, but week by week, they're falling down the rankings. And rankings don't make you a champion, of course, but, you know.
That too, but then also you don't want to be one of those upper teams in the tournament. They get a lower seed, and now they just start running through all.
And then you got to see them
running through the top dogs. They're not a team you want to. If you're one of the upper seeds, you don't want to see them early in the NCAA tournament.
Right. Baylor, Duke, Purdue, and UCLA on the men's side. Talk to me about men's college basketball, gentlemen.
Oh, I mean, Purdue they're just fun because they're just blue collar. We're going to punch you in the face, and we're going to keep punching you in the face, and we're going to keep punching in the face and win games. Duke, dangerous in Coach K's last year. I mean,
right.
You know he's going to coach the heck out of them when they get to the tournament. And some of their middle guys are the ones who are shining right now, which is going to make them very dangerous. Purdue, I said from the get-go that they'd be a top 14, and UCLA's got that quarterback. But you didn't put Gonzaga, and I still think Gonzaga is the favorite.
I'm sorry, I'm talking about just the top 4 ranking.
No, I'm just throwing them in there because I think they still are one of the top 4, even though they had the one loss. Like,
Coach O'Neal.
I'm going to give a shout out to, I think, a sleeping big-time team. And, Steve, you can jump on this. I know they're only in the top 25, but I think Xavier is a team that is very dangerous. Would you agree? I know they're like 20 or 22 or something that can make some noise.
They definitely are, and they're also a team playing for their coach's career. Like, I think he's been on the hot seat for a few years. And you can see whatever the bond that's been created during this time, they're playing for him. And they are a team that would be dangerous to see in the early part of the tournament.
You know, when I watch college basketball, I've always been a huge college basketball fan, but it always kind of generated from our region, right? If the Terps and the Hoyas and other teams around here were doing well, that's not the case so much anymore, obviously. And Steve, pretty much any player that played for you that is playing in college, I'm going to watch that game, whether it's Prentice or Terrence or Likes or Jenk, whoever it is, following those teams. So, tough part for me, college basketball wise, is just the lack of sort of energy, at least from the 2 big ones in this area.
Yeah, I'm with you there. We got to figure that out and see if there's some change that needs to be made. But I think key is getting in the right bodies, the right players,
right,
for these teams to be able to be successful. Because I think both of them should be perennial top 20 teams every year.
Well, there's a high school team in the area that's kicking some butt.
All right, let's talk WCAC hoops. Talk to me, Coach.
You like that segue?
I like that. You know what? Maybe you should sit in the producer's chair. You did that right nice, young man. Boy, you going to make me cry. I mean, you got a little buckaroo. He's come around.
Is the booster there, or do I have to move it when I sit in your seat?
Wow. I'm not Ty Lue, okay? I'm not Ty Lue. Or Ty Lawson. He was pretty short, too, wasn't he?
Oh, that little band on the side? Is
this is why we have this right here. This banter.
Hey, there's Kurtis.
Here.
There he is, Tiny Tim. It's going to be a Merry Christmas, one and all.
It's a miracle. It's a miracle, I say.
This band.
Hold on, you just went to Oliver, didn't you?
I did.
Have some more?
Kurtis, Tiny Tim.
Okay, all right.
I'm joning, man.
The banter right here is why we need to get back in the studio.
Well, come on. The studio's open. The door's right there. Come on in. Look, winter break is coming up. You're going to Portland. You don't have time to come in.
WCAC basketball.
Yes, let's do it.
It's fantastic. Again, I think we have a unbelievable season in January ahead of us. That's going to be a lot of teams beating each other up. You see early on, all of us are playing in national competition and a lot of success being had by the teams from this league. So we can enjoy the rankings now because they're going to get thrown out here in a few weeks when we start beating each other up.
I mean, Steve, I look at those rankings and there's teams that are in the top 10 of DC that are not in it or not as high as you think they would be. And then you look at national rankings and they're, it's flip flop. Like it's wild.
Well, I think locally, I just have to say it. The paper plays to the
demographics,
the demographics and who buys, trying to keep everybody happy, and so it is what it is. I mean, you look at Paul VI, they're undefeated, they're number 1 in the Washington Post, but they're not even in some national polls, which is great.
Right.
And they're gonna have a chance. They're out in Hawaii right now, and I think 1-0, going to probably be 2-0 today. They should make it to the championship of that event. And, you come back winning that, they should be a team that's sitting in the top 15 in the country. The Math is still having their success, but I think it's the teams that's been in the middle of the pack that you gotta be mindful and careful.
Right.
Riken already went into St. John's and won an early road game. Good Counsel's playing very well. Carroll is undefeated, and they've gone on the road and knocked off some teams from other areas. So I just think we're gonna have a conference that's gonna be fun to watch. In that last weekend in February, gonna be some great basketball. Gonna be some great basketball to watch.
On the girls' side, what's going on with Bishop McNamara?
They're arguably one of the best teams in the area. I mean, they're probably the best team in the WCAC this year. So you're gonna hear from them all year long. They're very, very talented. They're probably the one team that has a chance if they play to hang with Sidwell Friends.
Mm-hmm.
But you still can't sleep on St. John's. You can't sleep on PVI and on the girls' side. And I think Good Counsel's got a pretty good team this year as well.
Yeah, they do. All right, well, we're coming right back. We're going to have our final word shortly. So, Krissy, let's take it away. Connect with us socially on Instagram and Facebook at Turner O'Neill Podcast, on Twitter at Turn On Podcast, on YouTube, just search Turner and O'Neill, then subscribe. And of course, you can visit our website at www.turnerandoneill.com.
Become a friend of the program. Friendship contributions start at just $25. Each contribution helps to fuel Take It to Yo with Turner and O'Neill. To find out more or make your contribution, go to www.turnerandoneill.com and click Become a Friend.
The final word is brought to you by Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. Call 301-761-2278 or visit raypcruz.com. Ray P. Cruz, mortgages intelligently.
Portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take It to Yo with Turner and O'Neill.
We are back, and it's time to wrap this episode up with some thanks and, of course, our final word. We invite you to become a friend of the program. Just go to turnerandoneill.com and click Become a Friend. We'd like to thank our Season 3 friends, Thomas Alford, Melissa Alshab, Margie Billings, Adam Cross, Chelsea Cross, Paula Cross, Lynn Johnson, Erica O'Neill, Justin O'Neill, Sean Parker, Diane Panasevich, Amy, Dan, Noah, and Ellie Richard, Kathleen Talbot, Andrea Toronas, and Timothy Whittier. Become a donor, sponsor, or partner by visiting turnerandoneill.com and click Media Kit. Advertising with Turner and O'Neill will put your brand in front of thousands of listeners and viewers each week. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube by simply going to turnerandoneill.com and clicking any of the social media icons. We want to thank Coach Tamika Dudley for taking the TO with us today. Excellent guest spot that we had with her. Loved hearing from her. Loved hearing the Nuggets. And go Quakers. They are the number one team in the country. This podcast is fueled by our listeners and supporters, so we want to thank you, listeners and viewers, for tuning into YouTube and Buzzsprout and iHeartRadio and Spotify and everywhere you listen to us. Thanks to DJ Krissy, our engineer, who makes us sound and look good each week. Coach O'Neill, your final thoughts, sir. You're on mute, sir.
Wow.
We're going to begin with me on mute and end with you on mute. All right. It's in our DNA. We're Buckaroo brothers.
Yep. I own it. That's on me. I'm accountable. Real quick, great episode, Coach Dudley. Huge fan. She was an outstanding guest. And as we wrap up the year, I just want people to be good to others. We're in this holiday season and a new year's turning over. Let's be safe. Let's be smart. But let's be grateful and let's be kind to everybody. So have an awesome, awesome Christmas and a wonderful, wonderful holiday season.
Coach Turner, your final thoughts.
My big thing, this thing ain't going away. This thing called COVID. Let's really be safe. Let's really look out for our friends, our families, the people around us. Wear your mask. Wear your mask. But you know me, this is my time of the year, man. Happy holidays to you all. Merry Christmas. Enjoy your loved ones. I thought I saw one of the coolest things driving out of here from I Street the other day. I come out of the alleyway, Casey, the backside, and I see this car stop. And I kept seeing the guy look back, and I was like, what is he doing? But I saw in his car, he had he's like, looked like he had just finished shopping. He had all these bags. And then luckily that light there is kind of slow now, turning Alpha K on the North Capitol. So I was sitting right next to him, and he gets out of his car, and I'm like, all right, what's this guy doing? And he goes in the back seat, grabs out a bag, a Christmas bag. And, we have a few homeless people who live right on that street.
Mm-hmm.
And he went over and basically knocked on this person's homemade house out of cardboard and handed them a bag for Christmas. Mm. And, man, talk about teardropper. It was just cool to see people still thinking of others. And I hope that a lot of people do that during this time of the year.
Excellent story. Excellent story. DJ Krissy, your final thoughts, young lady. How do you follow that up?
Probably not a tearjerker.
Right.
But first, I want to thank you guys for joining us today. Always a good time to hang out with you all. Phenomenal episode today. Just wow. Our guest, her program's #1 in the country.
Yep.
That's a little crazy. Happy holiday to everybody, and let it snow.
Oh boy. That will not be our final word.
Let it snow.
That will not be our final word.
Let the mountainside is frightful.
And the clouds are so delightful. And since we've no place to go, hell no, hell no, hell no. It's supposed to be 60 degrees on Christmas, and I'm absolutely considering firing up the grill. Let's get to our final word in the quote of the day.
I'm coming by.
All right, my man. You're going to be in Portland.
Fire it up tonight.
Oh, well, hold
on.
Fire
it up tonight. Right. Throw the little fire pit on. Let's go.
Oh, my man.
I'll bring a stick by and we can have some fun.
All right. I've still never had, Coach Casey O'Neill, you may have mentioned something. I've never had a s'more. I'm waiting for you to invite me over for s'mores or make s'mores over here. All right. I have 2 fire pits and I have a deck heater. So where are my s'mores? Great episode today. I don't want it to snow. I love Coach Dudley. I've seen her before down there. Thanks to everyone down there at Sidwell. I think Sidwell may be the farm club for where we've gotten most of our guests so far then, right? Because we've had Kiki, we've had Singletary, and we've had Coach Dudley now. It's 3 people we've had from Sidwell. I guess Gonzaga has done us better because we've had players and coaches, but outside of that footprint, Sidwell has done us well. Let's move on to our weekly quote. You are a function of what the whole universe is doing in the same way that a wave is a function of what the whole ocean is doing. For the raindrop, joy is entering the river, right? That was my first quote ever. You are greater as a force than you are as an individual. DJ Krissy, pull the plug.
Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill would like to thank our advertisers, our premier partner, Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage, our partners, Dynamic DJ Entertainment, Healthy Baller, Insurance Alliance Group, LLC, Marquise Evans of Keller Williams Capital Properties, our sponsors, O'Neill Development, LLC, Next Level Lacrosse, A Squared Home and Office Solutions, Collins Funeral Home, and Peace Players International, and our donors, Winsight Media and Gene the Barber, now Max Life Barber and Salon. Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill is produced by Kurtis Cross and engineered by DJ Krissy. All material is the exclusive property of the podcast and may not be copied, rebroadcast, or used in any way without the written consent of the podcast. The views, ideas, and commentary of podcast guests are solely their own and not necessarily endorsed by the podcast. You may submit questions, podcast ideas, and commentary to turnero'neillpodcast@gmail.com. No compensation is offered for submitted material. Should we choose to use your idea, comment, or question, you agree to your likeness, social media identity, and or information being used on the podcast. Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill is recorded weekly and distributed via Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and more than 15 podcast platforms in total. You can also view Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill weekly on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest episode drops. Some portions of the podcast may be pre-recorded. Join us socially on Facebook and Instagram at Turner O'Neill Podcast, on Twitter at Turn On Podcast, and on YouTube. Search Turner and O'Neill and subscribe. Our website is www.turnerando'neill.com. Advertising opportunities are available.